Welcome back to The Survival Historian, where we dig beneath the surface of time to uncover the techniques that kept our ancestors alive, their civilizations standing, and, well, their legacies intact. Today we're not talking about survival in the wilderness or on the battlefield. We're talking about something more fundamental, the survival of the structures themselves. Imagine a Viking ship, centuries old, still holding its form beneath museum lights, or Roman pilings driven into riverbeds 2,000 years ago, still bearing weight as modern traffic rumbles overhead. How did ancient builders, without laboratories or chemical factories, make wood, nature's most vulnerable construction material, defy decay for millennia? We're about to uncover the forgotten secrets of their ingenious battle against rot and pests, revealing methods that could fundamentally change how we approach building today. Walk through any modern suburban neighborhood and you'll witness wood's fragility firsthand. Deck boards sag and splinter after just a decade. Fence posts rot at ground level within 15 years. The average pressure-treated lumber structure today, despite our industrial chemical treatments, barely survives 30 years before major repairs become necessary. In North America alone, termite damage costs homeowners over $5 billion annually, while fungal decay claims countless more. We've armed ourselves with arsenates, chromates, and copper compounds, yet we're losing ground in this ancient war. The irony cuts deep. With all our modern chemistry, our wooden structures often fail faster than those built by civilizations that wielded only axes, fire, and an intimate understanding of their materials. This disparity isn't just puzzling. It's a historical indictment of forgotten wisdom, a mystery that demands we look backward to move forward. The Vikings didn't just build boats, they engineered vessels capable of crossing the North Atlantic while withstanding the most hostile environment wood can face: saltwater. Stand before the Oseberg ship in Oslo, pulled from a burial mound after over 1,000 years, and you're witnessing a masterclass in material selection. Viking shipwrights understood something fundamental that modern builders often overlook. Not all wood is created equal. They selected oak for their keel and structural members, but not just any oak. They harvested heartwood from slow-growing trees, where the tight grain and high tannin content created natural resistance to water penetration. For planking, they chose pine heartwood rich in resin, nature's own waterproofing compound. The resin didn't just coat the surface, it saturated the cellular structure, creating a hostile environment for the microorganisms that cause decay. But material selection was only the beginning. Viking builders read wood like you might read a tactical map, identifying weaknesses before they became failures. They split their planks along the grain rather than sawing across it, preserving the wood's natural fiber integrity. They tarred their vessels using pine tar, a substance produced through controlled pyrolysis that penetrated deep into the wood's surface layers. This wasn't mere coating, it was impregnation. The tar filled the microscopic pathways that fungi and bacteria need to establish colonies. When archaeologists examine preserved Viking ships, they find wood that remains structurally sound, not despite a millennium underground, but because these ancient craftsmen engineered every detail to wage war against decay at the cellular level. The Romans took wood preservation from craft to science. When you examine the timber pilings beneath Roman bridges that still stand across Europe, or analyze the wooden water pipes unearthed from Pompeii, you're witnessing engineering that, honestly, modern builders still struggle to replicate. Roman engineers faced a different challenge than Viking shipwrights. Their timber often sat partially submerged or buried, creating the perfect environment for anaerobic bacteria and aggressive fungal attack. Charring became the Romans' first line of defense. They didn't simply scorch the surface. They created a controlled carbonization layer that transformed the wood's outer cells into something fungi and insects couldn't digest. The charred layer was hydrophobic, shedding water rather than absorbing it, and its altered chemical composition made it as unappetizing to termites as charcoal would be to you. But the Romans went further. They treated timber with alum, a mineral salt that altered the wood's pH and created an environment hostile to decay organisms. They soaked pilings in olive oil, which displaced water from the wood's cellular structure and created a barrier against moisture reabsorption. Archaeological analysis of Roman timber from waterlogged sites reveals wood saturated with these compounds, protected by multiple overlapping defensive systems. This wasn't luck or accident, it was systematic chemical warfare against the biological agents of decay. To understand why ancient methods worked, you need to see wood decay for what it truly is: an invisible war. Fungi are the shock troops, sending hyphal threads deep into wood fibers, secreting enzymes that break down cellulose and lignin, the structural polymers that give wood its strength. Bacteria follow, attacking from different angles, particularly in waterlogged conditions where oxygen-dependent fungi can't survive. Insects like termites and beetles are the specialized units carrying gut bacteria that help digest cellulose while tunneling through sound wood. Modern pressure-treated lumber fights this war with broad-spectrum chemical weapons, copper compounds that poison cellular processes, or borates that disrupt metabolic functions. Ancient civilizations fought smarter, not harder. Their natural compounds didn't just poison decay organisms, they made the wood itself inhospitable. Tannins in oak heartwood bind to proteins that fungi need for enzyme production. Pine resins contain terpenoids that disrupt cellular membranes in attacking organisms. The charred layer Romans created wasn't just physically protective, its altered chemistry lacked the sugars and starches that decay organisms need for food. These weren't single-point failures, like modern treatments that leach away or break down under ultraviolet exposure. They were integrated defense systems that made the wood itself the weapon. The irony of our modern struggle with wood preservation isn't lost on researchers who are now reverse engineering ancient techniques. Several universities and sustainable building initiatives are rediscovering that Viking tar treatments, when properly applied, outperform many synthetic preservatives while being completely non-toxic. Japanese builders never abandoned ancient wood preservation methods, and their traditional temples, some over 1,000 years old, stand as testament to techniques the West largely forgot. The ancient approaches offer more than just preservation. They offer sustainability in an era drowning in chemical treatments that threaten groundwater and human health. As we face the imperative to build more sustainably, perhaps the greatest survival lesson from history isn't about enduring warfare or wilderness, but about recognizing that our ancestors' solutions, refined through centuries of trial and error, might still be superior to our modern shortcuts. Their battle against decay was won not through brute chemical force, but through intimate understanding of materials and meticulous application of natural principles, a lesson in resilience that extends far beyond woodworking. If this journey into forgotten knowledge sparked something in you, hit that like button and subscribe to The Survival Historian. Share this with anyone who builds, repairs, or simply appreciates the ingenuity of those who came before us. Together, we'll keep uncovering the survival secrets that history tried to bury.